Hello and welcome to another of my pipe smoking chats, I suppose is the right word. Hope it's not too dark. It looks a bit dark today. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I haven't got the lights in the right place, so apologies about that. I've just lit the Essie. The weather is chilly. I've lit the Essie nice and early to warm up my house. And I'm going to have a smoke with you and a little chat. So I'm smoking today, again, in this rather delightful tin I've put everything in, but this is not what I'm actually smoking again. Keep calm and smoke a pipe, it says. That's good advice. And so I'm smoking, I think this is Wilson's of Sharrow, something called Superior, which, as I have been smoking it a few days now, it's very nice actually. It is fairly superior, as they call it. It's a sort of dark, it's got a lot of black Cavendish in it. It's relatively damp in there and has a deep sort of musty, mossy smell, I suppose, of deep forests, which reminds me of Biggleswick Farm, where Julia and I are in the process of planting hedges at the moment. I'm actually having a bit of a day off because I have pulled a few muscles in my shoulders and arms, and what with my leg, I pulled a muscle in my leg the other day. This is the trials and tribulations of going back to the land. The body is beginning to sort of, I suppose, firm up and get strong. And you've got to look after yourself, haven't you? I made a video on my other channel which sort of talked a bit more about it, and I mentioned in it that I had been taking some CBD oil, which did take the pain that I had for this very inflamed leg muscle completely away. Problem is, when you take the pain away, and if you're a bit like me, you just don't rest. And I think I just overdid it a bit. So today I'm forcing myself to rest, and then tomorrow, well, when you see this, I may well be back on the land digging more holes and planting trees. I was sent a very lovely video about a chap who has a drill to put bare root plants in the ground. A drill with that sort of length drill bit with a big swirly thing on the end, and you just drill the holes rather than dig them with a spade. Well, I wish I had that. That would have been so much easier. So I'll have to investigate that for the future. But we've got these plants and they've just got to go in the ground, you know, in a very sort of in a week before they dry up and die. Anyway, so I'm smoking my Herriot pipe made by Chris Herriot from Herriot Pipes, and I am hoping to get another one in due course, commission one from him. We chatted about that the other weekend, I think. So we'll celebrate that when that happens, but in the meantime I'm enjoying his pipe. Can you smoke a pipe too much? It's a question I'm asking. Can you smoke? This one is so lovely. It's very handy in the mouth as well because of the slim nature of the end bit, the mouthpiece. Anyway, let's light this up. And together we can put the world to rights in our little weekly chat of nothing terribly significant. There we go. And I'm still using this lovely copper tamper that was sent to me. An update, I still haven't found the other two lighters. I tried dowsing for them. I couldn't get the dowsing rods to respond, so I gave up on that. I have tried a few times, but it's got to be, the lighters have got to be in the house somewhere. It's just Julia and I have been in and out like a yo-yo here. This is not so much a home anymore as just a resting place. We've been trotting off to the land, we've been quite busy, and naturally you can follow all our exploits on the English channel. Not in the English channel, you'll get wet if you go there. In the English couple. The books, Biggleswick books, I'll just update you on that. They're trickling out at the moment. Most of them have gone. I do have a pile. I haven't been able to get to the post office, so if you are waiting books, they will be coming. It's just been a bit hands-on at the moment, and opportunity to get down to the post office, what with the hobbling leg and seized up limbs, has taken a bit of a back seat. And I apologise for that, but you will be getting them if you're waiting for them. Anyway, so that's all the housekeeping out the way. The fire is slowly taking. It's a bit slow today. It's been raining a bit and the wood's got a bit wet, but it'll soon catch and it'll be great. So yes, I took these CBD oils and it did take the pain away, and I got interested again in hemp. I didn't really know too much about it. I interviewed a chap on my other channel about hemp, or two people about hemp, and I hadn't realised, of course, the huge amount of use that hemp has been historically. In fact, you know, more than 100 years ago, really and truly, hemp was a massive benefit to mankind and industry. The old ships had hemp sails. The old tall ships had several tons of these hemp sails. The ropes were made from hemp. And of course you can make bricks and clothing and a whole load of other things from hemp. I watched a documentary about a chap called Jack Herer, and he wrote a book called The Emperor Wears No Clothes, which talks about how hemp, being such an amazing product, like so many, was thought, because of its connection with drug taking and marijuana, and I don't really want to get onto that side of things because I don't want to upset YouTube's policy, but if you take that to one side, the hemp in the CBD oils, absolutely amazing what they can do. Now, I'm not saying there are not other plants that have benefits and things, and I'm enjoying some ointment that one of my viewers has sent me to also additionally assist in the limbs and the muscles and things. Of course, there's lots of things, but it is amazing how something that has been proven and used for so long would be removed or thought to have just this one negative attachment to it, and yet it has so many benefits for the world, really, and had been and historically was. So I think as we've got a bit of land, it would be quite good to grow some hemp. I'm particularly interested in the clothing aspect of it, because hemp clothing, like linen, is very good against the body. Some of these modern oil-based polyesters and things like that are they're not natural fibres, and you know they've got chemicals, they've got petrochemicals in them, and the skin reacts, and you know, it would be good to get back to a more natural type of things. Now, of course, you know, everybody's entitled to their opinion whether they want to do this sort of thing or not, and it's not for me to force anybody to do whatever they want. But one should, of course, be able to see if there's a benefit in something and make use of it, especially if it's a naturally growing product. I don't know what the so-called legal rules are for growing hemp or turning hemp into paper or clothing or any other sort of material. What those legal ramifications are in the UK, in Britain. There's probably some restrictive natures to it because of its association with marijuana. Now, that is a shame. because if it is able to provide us with huge benefits, then surely that's got to be a good thing. Anyway, I've just been watching it, got interested in it because it's been the CBD oil has been useful to me. Anyway, that's all I've got to say on that. That is very nice tobacco, actually. This is Wilson's of Sharrow, Superior, which is very nice. I've started doing what I said I wouldn't do, and that is opening different tins and trying them at different times of day, because whilst I like to be able to take a tin and go through it methodically and then move on to the next tin and what have you, I think now I'm beginning to learn that there are different tobaccos for different times of the day or different moods, or ones that you want to stimulate you, others that just wants to relax you. So it's nice to have that. And I also need to take a tin of something to the land when Julia and I have a little break and we make a hot drink of some description. And one's got to rest. Although we didn't do much resting yesterday, we were hard at putting these hedgerow plants in. So they're things like hawthorn, blackthorn, a number of others, fruiting trees they are. And you'll see it in due course in the English Couple. We are a few episodes ahead on our filming. We like to do that because then the pressure is not on to get a video out, and we can, the video really is the highlights of what we've been up to and not having to show you all the laborious bits. If we just put the camera on and you saw us planting the trees, it might get a bit dull. So we'll show you some bits, although I didn't actually film yesterday. I wasn't feeling too great, but also I was fighting against the short days. How's this Essie doing? He's doing all right. So, but it's always good, as I say, to take a little tub of tobacco and have a little rest and take it easy for a while. And so now my jackets seem to be full of, not this particular jacket because I don't wear this one down on the farm. I've got a couple of jackets which I wear on the farm, which doesn't overly matter if they get a bit torn or ripped or whatever with all the brambles and things. But it's always good to have a few pipes on you so that you can circulate them. So you're not smoking all the time from the same pipe, because having a wet pipe is not very nice when you get some of that gunk up the spout, if you see what I mean, as I'm sure you do. What else can I tell you? I mean, my life at the moment is very much posting the books and going to the farm and doing things. So we've been working, as you'll see, on the cabin or the workshop, which is almost put together, and a log store. And we have now got a wood-burning stove in there. You'll see that ensconced, and we've got a few bits and pieces. I'm actually waiting for some little supplies for that in order to make it a little bit better, but it sort of works. One of the things I'm very impressed with is our pond. Our pond, it's not hugely deep, but because we've had so much wet weather, it has stayed full with water, which has been very handy when we've been planting other things. We've got some fruit plants as well. You'll see that coming up. And we get those in the ground. And it's just handy having that base of water. So keeping some water on the site, on the land rather, it's not a site, it's land, is very handy for us. So that's good. The other thing I suppose we need to think about, and I was saying this to Julia the other day, it would be nice to get some solar panelled lights. just to plonk them around in certain key areas, because it's getting dark. You can't see where you're going. It gets pitch black on the farm. So I thought there might be some solar panelled lights. I'll have to go and investigate and see what would work, and then put them at different places. Not so much that you could work outside, but once the workshop is made and it's a bit warmer, one can stay on the land a little bit longer in the winter and work on projects, and then just have the lights, they come on so that you can see your way back to the van, something like that. And also probably need to get a nice flashlight. There, all these little things that you don't think about, which would be handy in there. And because there's no power up there. When I say power, I mean grid power. So some off-grid lights would be very useful. So that's grand. Just enjoying this. This is very nice and relaxing. Now, was it last week I was talking about, I can't remember if it was on this channel or the other channel, I was talking about another book I'm thinking about working on. Now that would take time. I'm just going to give this a bit of a poke. I need to chop up some more kindling, really. Not so much kindling, but smaller logs. I've got, at the moment, too big a logs. I've only just lit it, but I need to nip outside with the axe and get it going. But yeah, it's always lovely having a log fire, and this is a lovely time of year to have the excuse to get one going and huddle down. I've spoken about on my other channel things like slowing down, and this is where the pipe just comes into it. I'm somebody who's always on the go, but I'm forcing myself to slow down a bit, because when you're very dependent on your physique, if you overdo it and you can't go in, you can't tend to your work because you're a bit knackered, then that's not good, obviously. So one needs to just take care of oneself. And I think when you're young and your body recovers so much quicker, that's easy. I still have that sort of feeling that I'm in my early 30s and just want to crack on. But I do feel very fit. Certainly benefit from being outside a lot, the fresh air, and even in the low sun, bits of vitamin D coming along to you. So it's been an absolutely positive experience, and thrilled to be taking the time to get on this. Is something I should have done years ago, really. But opportunity there was not. We have a bench which we've now positioned in the sunshine, and I say to Julia, come on, we'll have a cup of tea or coffee or whatever, and we'll sit just for 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the sun. It's very easy, isn't it, in life to go hell for leather after something that we want to do, and then forget to actually enjoy it. That is one of my problems, I suppose, is, you say, right, I get this task done, and then there's this task, and there's this task. And one of the things is, with land, you spend the money to get there, and there's a lot to do, but one doesn't want to get complacent, of course, but one must remember to enjoy the very object that you have invested in. And that's one of the things that we do a little bit of, as well as trying to capture everything on film. And we can't capture everything on film because sometimes you just got to get on and do the things, as you'll appreciate. But going back to the book idea that I sort of didn't quite finish, I think sooner or later, I think I'm going to need a little writer's hut on there, so that on those days when you've got time, you know, a couple of hours first thing in the morning would be great to be able to have a little hut in the quiet with a bit of early morning sunshine coming through and tap away on work and then attend to the other work. Of course, in the winter days when there's so little light, it's not so much time. But maybe next year we can get those sort of things organised with a little stove, tiny little stove, just to keep the place warm, and a kettle. Always need a little kettle, don't you? Anyway, this is really just a very basic and relaxed update. I haven't really said very much about anything in particular, but I like to keep my weekly appointment with you and enjoy a decent smoke and just have a conversation. And if you are still interested in the book Biggleswick, The Town That Wouldn't Comply, you're very welcome to email me and I'll tell you how you can buy it, and also I'll get it out to you as soon as I can, before Christmas, of course. So the fire seems to be doing all right, so that's nice. I am going to think about what I shall have for my evening meal, as I'm recording this the day before to do that. Probably something very simple, keep myself warm, and then a little bit later on I'll probably have another pipeful. Why not? Because tomorrow, the day you are watching this, it'll be all hands to the pump, digging away and getting in these edible fruit trees, come rain or shine. In fact, if it's slightly drizzly, that will be better for us, to be honest, because the soil will be easier to dig and they won't need watering. So they can go in and then they can do whatever they do, you know, take their time to grow. They're about 18 inches to 2 foot. So you drill a hole, plonk them in, put them back in, next one, next one. I'd love to say that in a few years' time, one could do some old-fashioned hedge laying where you bend the hawthorn or the hazel over and join it up. But you know, that is an old-fashioned craft that I'd love to learn how to do. I think I need to get somebody who knows how to do that to show us. But we're not ready there yet, of course. It's very early days. Anyway, enough rambling for me today. Thank you for joining me, and I will catch up with you next week here on the Pipe Channel. Him and his pipe. That's been a lovely smoke and a lovely pipe. Until next time, goodbye.